30 teams assembled in Birmingham for the first ever OQL Buzzer Quiz. There were plenty of brilliant buzzes throughout the day.
Okay, Emma, correct.
Nice.
It is Nikolai.
That is correct.
That is short for you, maybe.
Yes.
It is.
He's correct.
Attention to 6 on the score lines. That is correct.
Susie Amy played a character with this.
Chardonnay.
It is.
Diagnosis murder. It is diagnosis murder.
Well done, Ray.
But buzzer quizzing comes with its frustrations, not least when you come to edit the video of the final like I did and you find that chairs have been moved so you can't see all of the members on one team.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the final of the first ever OQL in-person, not online buzzer quiz. I'm not proposing to do a long introduction because I've got quite enough questions to ask and quite enough words to do, so without further ado, we're going to get straight on with your first starter question. On the buzzers. The corrupt accumulation of assets by this political party, once rumoured to be the world's richest, is known as black gold. This political party founded and drew many of its senior leadership from the Whampoa Military Academy. This party ruled under Marshal...
The Cormandine?
Is absolutely right, yes. So, you get 3 bonuses on a fashion designer. In 1965, which French designer presented a series of short skirts, which he has gone on to claim make him, and not Mary Quant, the inventor of the miniskirt?
There is another guy. It's just everything else here. I
Don't
don't
say
know.
it, but I can't remember. Don't think I know this. Just say.
Chantal.
It's not, so across...
Batman.
It's not, it's André Courrèges. Okay, second bonus. During the 1960s, Courrèges also introduced and defined which style of low-heeled white women's boot that was mid-calf in height.
Maybe.
Is that? Under. That's a really cowboy boot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Try it. Radio boot.
It's not, so I can offer it across. I need an answer, please. It's not, it's a go-go boot.
That's what those go-go boots are.
Yeah.
Sorry.
In 1968, Courrèges financed the startup of his own company by selling his stake in which cosmetics company, known for the slogan, "Because I'm worth it."
There we go. L'Oreal.
Yeah. L'Oreal.
L'Oreal is right.
Okay. I think we can get.
Okay, fingers on buzzers. A popular deep-fried version of this food product was first created by rugby-born Christopher Sell while he was working in Brooklyn. Invented by the Canadian James Dewar, this product's original recipe had to be changed during World War II due to the rationing of bananas. In his search for one of these food products, Woody Harrelson's character in Zombieland is infuriated to discover nothing but snowballs.
Twinkie?
It is Twinkie, yes.
Sorry? Yes. No, that's why I checked it was me.
And you get a set of bonuses on sweet smells in nature. Which British mammal may help the recovery of red squirrels due to its successful predation of grey squirrels? This arboreal mustelid with a tree in its name has feces that is said to smell of Parma violets.
Pine marten.
It is the pine marten, yes. Which large Southeast Asian member of the civet family, also known as the bear cat, produces a musk that smells of buttered popcorn?
Binturong.
Binturong is right. Which trees of the genus Cicidiphyllum share their name with an imperial palace in Kyoto? Grown both as an ornamental species and for high quality wood, they are sometimes called caramel trees due to the scent of burnt sugar they give off in the autumn. Need an answer, please?
Cherry.
It's not, so I pass it across.
Tree.
No tree.
Ginkgo.
Yeah, go with what you think.
Ginkgo.
It's not, it's the Katsura.
Sorry.
Okay, another starter question. The singer describes how, at every occasion, I'll be ready for one of these things in a Band of Horses track named for one of these things. This word precedes Of Hearts in the title of the first UK hit for Finnish rock band HIM. This word begins the name of a Welsh band who released the track She Drove Me to Daytime Television from the album Casually Dressed and Deep in Conversation, and an album with this name contains 4 numbered tracks with the main title Neighbourhood. That album...
Funeral.
Funeral is the right answer. And you get a set of bonuses on fictional English places.
Okay.
Which fictional cathedral city in Barsetshire is the setting for a sequence of novels by Anthony Trollope, one of which is This City Towers?
Yeah. Barchester. Barchester.
Barchester is right. Based on Hastings, the fictional town of Mugsborough is the setting of what semi-autobiographical novel by Robert Trussell?
The Ragged Trousers. Yeah, exactly. The Ragged Trousers Philanthropist.
Is right. And the third question, James Herriot's It Shouldn't Happen to a Vet is set in which fictional village of the North Riding of Yorkshire? Also the setting of its television adaptation, All Creatures Great and Small.
Yes. It's the one that's based on Thurskon. I can't remember.
It's called.
I'll just say Thurskon.
Thurskon.
It's not.
Darrowby.
It is Darrowby, yes. So 5 points there. So fingers back on buzzers. Here is another starter. A soldier with this surname and forname Holcroft commanded artillery at the Battle of Blenheim. His father, who also had this surname, had unsuccessfully tried to assassinate the Duke of Ormond. This is the first word in the English title of a play in which death is disguised as a beggar woman and leads Leonardo...
Blood.
Blood is right. And you get 3 bonuses on songs addressing the artist's younger self. Who performed the 2021 track Sun Goes Down, the video for which shows him comforting his younger self, and a couple of months before the release tweeted a note beginning, Dear 14-year-old Montero, I wrote a song with our name in it.
Lil Nas X.
Yeah, it is Lil Nas X. Which left-wing folk singer-songwriter performed the 2018 track Black Tie, a song protesting homo and transphobia, addressed in part to her closeted Year 11 self in her Year 11 hell?
Smith.
K Tempest.
It's not, so I can pass it across. I need an answer, please. It's not, it's Grace Petrie. And the third question, multiple songs on the 2014 album Transgender Dysphoria Blues address a younger version of Laura Jane Grace, the frontwoman of which American punk band, also known for the albums New Wave and White Crosses, and the 2010 hit I Was a Teenage Anarchist.
This is all famous. It's not
No, I'm sorry, I don't know.
anything.
Sorry.
Need an answer or?
The Bikini Kill.
No, I'm going to time you out. So pass it across.
No, scratch.
No, they're called Against Me with an exclamation mark.
Sorry. That's famous. Shall I call that?
Okay, next starter. This person played Sally, the main character in the unaired pilot of How I Met Your Mother spin-off, How I Met Your Dad. This performer co-directed and starred with Joe Swanberg in Nights and Weekends. This person's next film is a live-action Barbie film directed with their romantic partner. This person was Golden Globe nominated for a role as a dancer in New York City in Frances Ha, and Academy Award nominated for directing a film. That's the end. It is Greta Gerwig, yes.
Sorry.
3 bonuses then on the Scottish Division C in 1946-47, the first year of a short-lived experiment to run a 3rd tier in the Scottish League. The winners that season were which side nicknamed the Beanos, who moved from Anfield Stadium with 2 N's to Forth Bank in 1993 and have maintained Scottish League membership ever since.
Sterling Abbey.
Stirling Albion is right. Finishing at the foot was which side, who enjoyed a largely unsuccessful league spell from 1931 to 1949 before moving into junior football. A new side with this name was formed in 1986, plays at the Meadowbank Stadium, and was promoted to the SPFL in 2016.
Livingston.
It's not Livingston, so pass it over.
Ross County. Ross County.
It's not Ross County, this is Edinburgh City. In third place was the reserve team of which larger side? One of three reserve teams making up the numbers. This team's Dens Park ground is located just 200 yards from their city rivals Tannadice Park ground.
Dundee.
Dundee is the right answer. Fingers on buzzers. A variant of this condition was found to have a high prevalence in the Afrikaner population due to a genetic founder effect from a Dutch migrant to South Africa. This condition can be classified into acute or cutaneous types, or according to whether the metabolic defect occurs in the liver or bone marrow. This condition results from defective enzymes that metabolize the tetrapyrrole rings that constitute an essential part of hemoglobin molecules.
Sickle cell.
It's not, so minus 10 points to interruption, and I carry on. The need for individuals affected with cutaneous variants of this condition to avoid sunlight, due to the tendency of their skin to blister severely, may have given rise to vampire legends, which condition, sometimes diagnosed when urine turns purple on exposure to light, is thought to have caused the madness of King George the...
Porphyria.
Porphyria is the right answer. So you get 3 bonuses now on unsuccessful invasions of an island. The scene of battles in the Norse sagas Heimskringla and Orkneyinga saga. Which British island is separated from its mainland by the Menai Strait?
Anglesey.
Anglesey is right. Around AD 60, which then governor of Britain led an attack on Anglesey, but was forced to turn back in order to deal with the rebellion started by Boudicca?
No, what did you say?
Agricola.
It's not, so I can pass it over.
It's no. I'm blanking.
I need an answer, please.
Vespasian, but it's not.
Who, sorry?
Vespasian, but
It's not. It's Gaius Suetonius Paulinus.
Sorry.
And the third question. First name and either epithet or patronymic required. In 1157, Henry II sent a fleet, unsuccessfully, to Anglesey to meet the forces of what man? The first Welsh ruler to be known by the title Prince of Wales, and the grandfather of Llewellyn the Great.
Yeah, I just need something.
Need an answer, please?
Ap Griffith.
Prompt.
You don't like Llewellyn, no?
I could be.
Can I have an answer, please? Sorry?
Llewellyn?
Sorry?
Llewellyn.
No, it's not. I'll pass it across.
Owain Ap Griffith.
It's Owain Ap Griffith. The whole thing's underlined. Sorry. So, fingers back on buzzers. Here is your next starter. A novel by an author with this first name opens with the narrator expressing her fondness for Richard Plantagenet and Amanita Phalloides. This name titles a novel by a different author in which the eponymous character erroneously believes she is about to die after being bitten by a supposedly rabid dog, causing her to confide in her former tutor, Lewis Gerard Moore. A character with this surname mistakes currant wine for raspberry cordial and hits Gilbert Blythe with a slate after he calls her carrots.
Shirley?
Shirley is the right answer.
Shirley? It's just
And you get 3 bonuses now on a man-made waterway. Competition from Railways and Roads saw the 1929 merger of the Regent's Canal and Grand Junction Canal to form which man-made waterway that links London and Birmingham?
Grand Union.
Grand Union Canal is right. The Grand Union Canal goes through which London park in Isleworth? The stately home of the same name is the London home of the Duke of Northumberland.
Bushy?
It's not. Shall I pass it over?
It's not really. Just try it. Richmond.
It's not Richmond Park, it's Syon Park. At which village in Northamptonshire does the Grand Union Canal meet the Oxford Canal? This also marks the point where the Grand Union ceases to be able to accommodate two narrowboats side by side.
Whedon or something? It could be Braunston. They're both on the canal.
Lead an answer, please.
Braunston?
Braunston is the right answer. Okay, fingers on buzzers. Two unrelated players for this club, who shared a surname, respectively set a league record of 401 league appearances without missing a game, and scored 9 goals in a 13-4 win for this side over Oldham Athletic. They were Harold and Bunny Bell. David Kelly scored this team's consolation goal when they lost the 2000 League Cup final to Leicester City, although in 2015 this team from North West England were relegated from the Football League, to which they have since returned. Members of this team's Hall of Fame include long-serving manager John King and John
Tranmere.
It is Tranmere Rovers, yes.
Got it on John Aldridge, but that was too late because you got there.
Tranmere Rovers who lost the 2000 League Cup final to Leicester City.
I heard the
We heard the excitement.
Okay, you get 3 bonuses now on Ginger Rogers without Fred Astaire. In 1933, Rogers gained prominence with supporting roles in the film musicals 42nd Street and Gold Diggers of 1933, which both featured spectacular kaleidoscopic dance sequences devised by which legendary choreographer?
That's what I just said, yeah.
Busby Buckley.
Is absolutely right, yes. Rogers won an Academy Award for playing the titular role of a sales assistant who falls in love with a wealthy socialite in which film? Her character's name came to refer to a style of short-sleeved navy blue and white dress popular in the 1940s.
Kitty Foyle.
Kitty Foyle is right. In Billy Wilder's Hollywood directorial debut, The Major and the Minor, Rogers appeared as the female lead alongside which male co-star who won an Oscar for the role of Don Burnham in a later Billy Wilder picture?
No, it wasn't Don Burnham. Who's won an Oscar for Billy Wilder?
I need an answer, please.
Randall.
It's not, so I can pass it across. Answer, please. It's not. It's Ray Milland. The Billy Wilder film was The Lost Weekend. Okay, fingers back on buzzers. In 2021, NME rated this person the greatest Taskmaster contestant of all time, despite finishing as runner-up in their season. This performer appeared as the girl who smells of spam in Fist of Fun, alongside her university contemporaries Stuart Lee and Richard Herring. In Green Wing, this person's character Holly threatened the relationship between Mac and Caroline. This actor, whose film roles include Mrs. Bennet in Pride and Prejudice with Zombies, plays the title character in a Radio 4 comedy based on a Harry Venning comic strip, Claire in the Community.
Phillips.
Sally Phillips is the right answer. So, your reward is 3 bonuses on a medieval item of jewellery. What is the name of the gold and enamel brooch or livery badge, now in the British Museum, that was uncovered in Bedfordshire in 1965? It may have been given by the future Henry V to one of his supporters.
Name somewhere in Bedfordshire would be my preference.
I need an answer, please.
Amtil.
It's not, so across.
Try it. Bolingbroke brooch.
It's not, it's called the Dunstable Swan Jewel.
Just with Fleet Dunstable, we're not getting it.
The Dunstable Swan Jewel is often compared to the livery badge of the White Hart worn by Richard II in which painting? This diptych, now in the National Gallery, depicts Richard alongside Edmund the Martyr and John the Baptist on one side, and the Virgin and Child flanked by angels wearing blue on the other, and is named after a country house in Wiltshire.
The Wilton diptych.
It is the Wilton diptych. Another work from that era, using the ronde bosse encrusted enamel technique, was the Holy Thorn Reliquary, also now in the British Museum. It was commissioned by which French duke, who also commissioned the Limbourg brothers to produce the illuminated manuscript, the Très Riche Heure.
Just as a round. No idea. Duke of Orleans.
It's not, so
Berry.
it goes over.
Duke of Berry.
It is
Nice.
John,
Good.
Duke of Berry. 5 points. Another starter question now. Kenneth Arrow and John Pratt name a model which measures how much an average person tries to avoid this concept.
Risk.
Risk. Financial risk. So 3 bonuses now on professional chefs who have appeared on the Off Menu podcast.
Okay.
When he appeared on the podcast, which head chef of the Michelin-starred Hand and Flowers gastropub somewhat belied his recent association with weight loss with a dream menu which featured a Bernie in Knickerbocker Glory and 24 cans of Stella?
Kitchen.
It's not.
Kerridge.
It is Tom Harris.
Kitchen. Sorry. Yes, fine. I remember.
Another professional chef guest on the podcast was Thomasina Myers, founder of Mexican street food chain Oaxaca, who had come to prominence by winning which TV series?
MasterChef.
That is MasterChef. A dream menu including injera bread and princess cake reflected the international childhood of which chef, born in Ethiopia and raised in Sweden?
He's called Samuelson.
Now primarily based in America, he is probably best known as the head chef of Harlem's Red Rooster.
I think he's called like Samuelson.
He is called exactly Samuelson. Fingers on buzzers, here is your next starter for 20. This number follows Agent in the name of a Danger Mouse character who can change shape to resemble anything he wishes. This number is referred to as the Grotendieck Prime. After that,
57.
57 is the answer.
Yeah, well done. Absolutely. Good danger man. Good danger man.
Good danger
man.
Yeah, deep danger out there.
So you now get 3 bonuses on Pigs on Television. English actress Harley Bird voiced which porcine character between 2007 and 2020? This title character of a preschool animated series has a younger brother called George and loves jumping in muddy puddles. Is right. First name acceptable. Pigby is the pet pig of which character in the US comedy Pushing Daisies? Portrayed by Kristen Chenoweth, this character lives next door to Ned and works as a waitress at the Pie Hole.
Just Janet first name.
Guess it's
Janet.
It's not Janet, so it goes across.
That's a good American.
No.
Amy.
It's not Amy, it is Olive Snook.
That was my next guess.
And finally, the Oinker sisters are a trio of singing pigs that appear in which educational children's TV series? Their song, A New Way to Walk, was covered in 2002 by fellow characters Elmo, Zoe and Grover, together with Destiny's Child. Sesame Street is right.
Yeah.
Wait, no, 180.
Regret not getting the maths started, to be honest.
Okay, another starter question. An alternative name for the first exclusion parliament derived from the name of this concept, which was codified by an act passed in that parliament after being introduced to the common law in the Assize of Clarendon. This is the only one of the 6 prerogative writs which is non-discretionary. The US Constitution provides that rebellion and an invasion of public safety are the only reasons this legal concept may be suspended.
Habeas corpus.
Habeas corpus is that. 3 bonuses now on women who took on the mafia. While working as Assistant Attorney General, Mabel Walker Willebrandt is credited with developing the idea of prosecuting otherwise untouchable mob bosses for what crime? Most famously, Al Capone was sentenced to 11 years in prison after being convicted of this crime in 1931.
Tax evasion.
Tax evasion is right. Born in the French West Indies, this woman, along with her enforcer Bumpy Johnson, long resisted mafia attempts to cut in on her numbers racket in Harlem in the 1920s and 30s. After the assassination of one of her major rivals, she famously sent a telegram to his hospital bed with the message, "As ye sow, so shall ye reap."
Do you think Ma Baker could be a real
I like it. Do it.
Yeah.
Let's go with it.
More Baker.
It's not.
We tried, we
We
failed.
tried.
Mark Parker.
It's not, no, it's Stephanie Sinclair. And third bonus, as a labour organiser for the International Ladies Garment Workers Union, Min Matheson was one of the few union leaders in the mid-20th century to successfully stand up to organised crime. Matheson worked in which US state, where the Buffalino family was active in cities such as Wilkes-Barre and Pittston?
Well,
Pennsylvania seems to be. Try it.
Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania is right.
don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Okay, calm down. Calm down. We've got a game.
Okay, another starter. This species' disappearance from the Levant region has been theorised to correspond with the local extinction of the straight-tusked elephant. Remains of this species are commonly found alongside Acheulean artefacts at sites such as Zhoukoudian near Beijing. Controversy still rages over whether this species should be treated as distinct from the ergaster species of the same genus. Evidence from the Kubifora site suggests that this may have been the first species to harness the power of fire. Eugène Dubois' discovery of the Java man fossil provided the earliest example of which extinct hominid species. It's not, I'm afraid, so that's minus 10 points. Which extinct hominid species whose name translates as upright man? Homo erectus is right.
Yes.
So 3 bonuses on mathematics. You can't comb the hair on a coconut is a colloquial expression for which theorem in algebraic topology, which in more formal terms states that there is no non-vanishing continuous tangent vector field on even dimensional n spheres.
I think it is Harry Ball.
Harry Ball.
Harry Ball theorem is right. Henri Poincaré proved the Harry Ball theorem for 2 spheres in 1885. Which Dutch mathematician extended it to higher dimensions in 1912? He is regarded as the father of modern topology and established the fixed point theorem and topological invariance of dimension.
Say that for a minute.
I need an answer, please.
Lawrence.
It's not Lawrence, so send it across.
Bro.
Sorry?
Bro.
Brouwer is right, yes. Brouwer was a defender of the notion that maths is a cognitive construct rather than a type of objective trust, a notion named intuitionism. He co-named a controversy on this topic with which German mathematician, best known for presenting his 23 problems in 1900?
Hilbert.
It is David Hilbert, yes.
Yeah, sorry about that one.
Oh, yeah.
It's annoying.
Right, fingers back on buzzers. This sports person made a comeback after a period away from his sport, playing for Toronto Nationals against Vancouver Knights. David Lloyd suggested this person did not have 2 brain cells to rub together after this person was accused of scuffing Rishabh Pant's batting mark. This cricketer, the only player to win the ICC Test Player of the Year award more than once, was banned from all cricket for 12 months.
Smith.
Yes. Steve Smith is right.
Good guess.
Good job.
That's good. You've got to guess this.
And you get 3 bonuses now on husband and wife songwriters. Which songwriter joined Motown in 1966 with her husband, Nicholas Simpson? Hits written by them include Ain't No Mountain High Enough and You're All I Need to Get By.
Did we think of these stuff?
Who's the writer? Female writer.
Can I have an answer, please?
Tamara.
It's not, so across.
Ashford.
Valerie Ashford is the right answer. Before finding success as a solo artist, which singer-songwriter found fame in 1960s co-writing with her husband Jerry Goffin and wrote songs including Up on the Roof and You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman.
Carol King.
The Carol King is right. Which songwriter is known for her collaborations with her husband Barry Mann? Her songs include Make Your Own Kind of Music and We Gotta Get Out of This Place.
Isn't it Big Mama? What's she called?
It's not Big Mama from
Cass.
potentially. I could go with that. I've got nothing.
Cass.
It's not, so pass it across.
This is
Cynthia Val.
Cynthia Ryle is right.
I
Yes.
should be
Okay, fingers on buzzers. In his histories, Herodotus suggests that this deity formed a single syncretized identity with Osiris. This deity has been suggested as an example of a dying and rising god, and one narrative relates.
Dionysus.
Dionysus is correct.
That's what we like.
That's good.
And that gets you 3 questions on female jockeys.
That's good.
Oh,
Which Australian jockey became the first to win the Melbourne Gold Cup in 2015, riding Prince of Penzance? Her victory was the focus of the 2019 biopic Ride Like a Girl.
He was a pig at the time.
Yes.
I just say Blackmore, but it's not. Blackmore.
It's not.
Michelle something. Payne.
It is Michelle Payne, yes. Which retired jockey came third on Seabass in the 2012 Grand National? Her brother Ruby had won the 2000 Grand National on his first attempt at the race.
Walsh. Walsh?
It is Katie Walsh, yes. Rachel Blackmore became the first female jockey to win the Grand National in 2021, when she did so riding which horse?
Manila Times, is it? Something like that, isn't it? Can't remember. I don't know. Manila Times.
Manila Times is right.
It's more than I expected.
So that is 15 questions down, 5 to go, and the scores are
285 all.
Yeah.
285 bits.
we just played 15 questions from nothing. Where have we gone? Well, we've got the exile holy system.
I didn't even make it, it's a buzz.
Yeah, sorry, go.
Right, moving on to starter number 16, fingers on buzzers. This TV series was developed from a Danish series called Gift Fed Force de Blik, and former cricketer John Aiken is one of the experts on the Australian version of this show. An altercation at a dinner party forced the removal of Nikita Jasmine, along with Anthony Poole, from the most recent series of this show.
Married at First Sight.
It is Married at First Sight.
It's the Australian, yeah, it's very nice.
Beautiful buzz.
I need to go for the
3 bonuses now on tall buildings. Which world capital city is home to the 7 skyscrapers constructed between 1947 and 1953 and known as the Seven Sisters? One of them is the main tower of this city's leading university and was, until 1990, Europe's highest building.
Moscow.
Moscow is correct. 6 other buildings in Moscow ranked as Europe's tallest since 1990. But since 2017, the title has been held by which skyscraper, named after the district of St. Petersburg in which it can be found?
No idea.
Do you know this? I don't have this at all. I thought that's the Europa.
I thought it was the Europa.
Probably just say Europa.
Yeah.
Europa?
It's not, I'm afraid, so pass it across.
Nominating.
It's not, it's called the Laughter Centre.
We lacked an answer for that.
Hey.
Laughter Centre is not the tallest freestanding structure in Russia. That honour goes to which TV and radio tower in Moscow, which, since its completion in 1967, has been Europe's tallest freestanding structure?
Ostankino.
Yeah, let's go with it.
Ostankino.
Ostankino Tower.
I thought it was hard. Yeah, I thought it was good.
Why the hell
I'm glad you know this.
It's cool.
Okay, fingers back on buzzers. One of this chain of islands is home to Banzai Cliff, scene of a mass suicide in World War II. Oliver Sacks studied the neurodegenerative disease Litico-Bodig, which is endemic to the Chamorro people on the southernmost of these islands. The aeroplanes that dropped the atomic bombs on Japan took off from North Field on the island of Tinian, part of this island chain. The northernmost islands in this chain form a US Commonwealth with its capital at...
Mariana Islands.
It is the Mariana Islands, yes.
I can figure it out, sorry.
3 bonuses for you on a legal concept. What two-word term, where both words begin with the same letter, is used in the US for policies and practices that an organisation may adopt to include particular groups based on gender, race, sexuality, and other factors in areas where they have been historically underrepresented?
Affirmative action.
It is affirmative action. A key US Supreme Court decision upholding affirmative action was which 1978 decision, in which the plaintiff appealed his rejection by the medical school at the University of California, which had been due in part to his age. His surname is all you need.
Kennedy?
We'll say Kennedy.
It's not Kennedy, so I'll pass it across.
Tavisoff, is it?
It's not, it's Backer. Which 2010 statute allows UK employers to select a candidate from an underrepresented group, so long as he or she is as well qualified as another potential candidate that is not from the underrepresented group? This Act protects people against discrimination, harassment, or victimisation in employment based on 9 protected characteristics.
Equal opportunities, equality at work. Equal opportunities. I don't know. Yeah. Equal opportunities act.
It's not.
It's called the
What's it across?
Act. Yeah, it is.
Equalities Act.
It's the Equality Act. Yeah.
Let's go.
Here is another starter. This item has its origins in a similar item called a crocodile, mentioned in the work Libro de los Juegos, compiled for Alfonso X of Castile, and this item is known as a fou in French. White moves this piece to b5 in the Roy Lopez opening, and a player may move this piece into the second rank of the b or g file.
Bishop.
It is a bishop, yes.
Yeah. Next word is going to be the Piancetta.
These questions are on long-running musicals. Which Oscar Ashe musical, based on the story of Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves, ran at London's Her Majesty's Theatre for 5 years from 1916, twice as long as any previous musical had run?
So what open sesame?
You could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. There's things that run in line out.
Open sesame. Open sesame.
It's not that, so I can pass it over.
Chu Chin Chow. Yeah. Nominate Nick. Chu Chin Chow.
Chu Chin Chow is absolutely right. Chu Chin Chow's longevity record was broken by which Julian Slade musical, which premiered in 1954 in Bristol and then moved to London's Vaudeville Theatre? Perhaps appropriately, given the derivation of its title, one number in this musical is Cleopatra.
Derivation of its title, so this is something.
I need an answer, please.
Queen of Egypt.
It's not, so I can pass it across. I need an answer, please.
The boyfriend.
It's not, it's Salad Days.
Didn't know that was didn't know anything.
And third bonus, which Lionel Bart musical broke Salad Days' record for longest run? Numbers in this musical include Consider Yourself and Food, Glorious Food. Oliver is right. So we reach the crucial point with 2 questions to go, and what are the scores?
360 plays 320.
All right.
Yeah, that's true.
Fingers on buzzers. An actor with this first name played a character who interrupts a classical music concert by dancing to Boogie Wonderland, in a role for which he became the first black recipient of the César Award for Best Actor. Another actor with this first name played a man who is stabbed in the ear through the wall of a toilet cubicle in the opening scene of Scream 2. A TV character with this first name arranges the recovery of a stolen service weapon to make amends with Bunk Moorland. That TV character with this first name is known for robbing drug dealers in Baltimore. Michael K. Williams's...
Omar.
Omar is right. So you get 3 bonuses on a versatile person. Which British comedy writer and actor wrote and acted in the BBC Radio 4 sitcom Cabin Pressure, and more recently his eponymous souvenir programme, the 5th series of which earned rave reviews in 2021?
Finnemore.
John Finnemore is right. The multi-talented Finnemore uses the pseudonym Emu to write very difficult cryptic crosswords for the Times on Saturdays. Which magazine, published weekly by the BBC between 1929 and 1991, in which those crosswords first appeared, gives its name to the Times column which features them?
Listener.
The listener is right. Using his free time during COVID-19 lockdowns, Finnemore became only the third person to solve which murder mystery book and puzzle, first published in 1934 by Edward Powys Mathers, the crossword compiler also known as Torquemada. It involves arranging 100 pages in the correct order and solving numerous puzzles to identify a murderer.
Pass.
Okay, going to pass it over.
I mean, it doesn't matter, does it? Do you, to be honest, but no. It doesn't matter.
Well, Aphrodite's curse.
It's not, it's Cain's jawbone.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
We
discussed that.
So that was all. Yes, wasn't it?
Yes, that's one.
Okay, this is the last starter for 20. Henry V was betrothed to Catherine of Valois under a treaty signed in this city, which stands on the site of the Roman settlement of Augustobona Tricassium. This city was where Pope John VIII crowned Louis the Stammerer for the second time. According to hagiographic legend, this city's bishop St. Lupus offered himself as a hostage to Attila, saving this city from destruction before the Battle of Chalons, which was fought nearby. Lancelot and Percival are among the Arthurian-inspired works by a poet from this city, who...
Troy.
Troy is So, 3 bonuses now on literary influences of the composer Francis Poulenc.
Not Poulenc.
Inspired by a child putting a book on his piano and asking him to play it, a piece for piano and narrator by Poulenc is titled for which famous fictional elephant created by Jean de Brunoff? It is Baba, yes. Poulenc's first opera, The Breasts of Tiresias, was based on a surrealist play of the same name by which French writer and art critic who is credited with coining the word surrealism?
Apollinaire.
Apollinaire is right. Which play by Jean Cocteau inspired and gave its name to Poulenc's final opera? Both the play and the opera consist entirely of a woman's final telephone call to her unseen and unheard ex-lover. You may give either the French or the English title.
Just say it.
The Infernal Machine?
It's not, so
it's
pass it
alright.
across.
No, I was just. No, we don't.
No, it's La Voix Humaine, or the human voice.
Before we present the trophy to our winners, I'd like to congratulate our absolutely phenomenal runners-up. Your normal champions of the OQL BUZZER Cup, but it's written bold for some reason. It is Quizbowl Cabal.